Hello YouTube audience. Today is early July and I want to do this video on partially decandling my Japanese black pine. And this pine, I have put a air layer here, and so anything above the air layer, meaning all these parts, all these, I will not decandle. So I went to a pine pruning party in Dan Robinson's Elandon Gardens, and I videotape his talk on decandling. So I think there's no one in this world who can talk about decandling better than he does. So I probably put the link on this video, and you can see why we do decandling and what are the benefits, how to do it, and what are the benefits of doing decandling. So basically we want to reduce the straight growth and to improve ramification of the tree, also reduce the needle size by doing decandling. In Dan's garden, the trees are so healthy and they receive so much sunshine, they can be decandled every year. But my trees are grow on a north-facing balcony, so they are not as healthy, and also they are grow in a pot, not in the ground. So I think my tree can be decandled maybe once every 2 years, but this is the second year. Last year I repotted it, so did not have much growth too. So, but this year is the second year after repotting, so I can do a pretty good decandling in some of the candles, except for what is above the air layer, because the new candle are the energy source to generate the root. By the way, the air layer is doing well. I did a sneak peek into the bag and see some tiny roots. So if everything goes well, I will check again this fall. I may be able to separate it this fall. So it has taken 2 years, but because last year I repotted the tree, so last year almost doesn't count because the tree don't have much strength in it. So it has been taking a while. It depends on the weather, the location, and all. So if I were in a hotter area, I may get the air layer to take quicker. But I'm in Seattle and my tree is growing in a north-facing balcony, so it's not in exactly the best environment for air layering to take. But it's doing well. I may be able to remove the air layering this fall or early next spring. So let's see if you can see it. So the candles of the pine has already opened, and you have the candle has grown a lot of pine needles. So now it has expanded all the energy it's stored in the system. So if now I just simply prune off the candle, it's going to force the tree to bud back profusely. So I'm just going to go into here and completely remove this candle completely. This is this year's new growth. I just completely remove it, and the hope is that there would be new bud growing out from where I decandle it. So I can show an area where I decandled last year. Although last year was a weak year because I just repotted it, it also have generated good result. Let's see, it's here. So I decandled last year here, and where I decandled, there are 3 new shoots come out from here. So now I just need to select 2. So because we want, in bonsai we want bifurcation, we don't want 3 branches come out in one place. So I'm going to remove one of the 3 candles that grow out this year. This is the top growing one. I'm removing 2 that's facing the lateral direction. There is a spider there. I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, I'm just going to decandle. So this is before the air layer, so I can decandle it. Or below the air layer. So I can decandle this. There is a branch on top which is growing nice needle. I can also decandle it. Just go in and remove all of this year's growth. And this way I'm going to force new bud to come out. Okay. Let's see. Because this tree is still tiny, I may not have too much to decandle, but let's see. I think I still have a little bit, several. I'm going to turn the tree back so that the decandling can be seen. Okay, you can see some candle. This is above the air layer, so I'm going to leave alone. It needs to generate the energy for new root. But there is this one that I can decandle, this one. Okay, here, very good view. So I'm simply going to cut off all. This is this year's new growth. All of it comes off. And then we still have 2 more, I think. I can see 2 more. Let's see. Okay. We can see it. Okay. There is this one here. I'm going to cut off, completely remove it. And there's one more here. Yes, there's one more here I can completely remove. Okay, this and this way, everywhere I cut, it's going to generate a new bud. And after decandling, for dance tree, we basically don't have the luxury because his trees are huge. We don't have the luxury to needle pluck the tree. But for these trees, because it's tiny, we can needle pluck them. So basically, to further reduce the strength of the tree, so that the new needles that's come out is tiny, is small, what we can do is we can pluck the old needles after decandling. I think I see one more place I can decandle. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see. It's difficult to find on the camera. Okay, I see it. So I would normally need to point my scissor to the place where I'm going to cut and find and see if I can see my scissors. Then I know I can find the branch. Okay, this place also prune off. Also this place. Some candle I want to leave it because I don't want it to generate too much bud too close to the place where it emanates from the branch. So I think I will leave this one. It's too small. I'm going to next year when they go new needle, new candle, I'm going to decandle that. Okay. Now I simply need to remove some of the old needles, which is a quite some work. Let's see if I can start with a easier place. So removing the old needles will allow some more light to get into the branch structure and encourage back budding. And that's what we want. Okay, this is the first place where we decandle, so the needles under it, we don't need to have too much of it left. So first thing I need to see, so these are old needles. Probably I'm going to encounter some spiders. Hopefully I can see them and don't crush them. I don't want to crush the spiders, but there are plenty spiders on this tree. So I hope I can see them. I just need to leave a round of needles right under where I cut. So 4 to 5 pair of needle is enough. So if the tree is very strong, it should poke your fingers and your fingers should hurt. That means the tree is very strong. Okay, and plop a little bit more. Okay. So this branch has been plucked, well plucked, have a little bit more than I needed, but it's fine. And the needles are also very long right now, so I can prune off some of the needles. Don't have to be that long. It's going to be brown where I cut short the needles, but the needles are going to be gone next year, so I'm not too worried about it. Underneath it there is a small candle here, which I can let it grow and decandle next year, so that the small candle can have time to become a branch. So there is a stump there I can prune off. So I'm leaving some candles. I'm not decandling everyone. And I'm removing some of the excess needles. Don't need too much needles to block the growth of the tree. So I'm also leaving this candle, leaving this one to grow stronger, because if this is the final planting angle of the plant, which is still, I'm still deciding, because I can do it as an informal upright tree, still possible. Depends on what the tree looks like after I remove the air layering. So if I'm decided to do a semi-cascade tree, we need a head here. So this one could serve as a head, or a head to make a triangle top here. So I need a branch to grow up strong and to form a crown of the tree somewhere here. So if I need it, I would have to keep this and let it grow a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, and then maybe decandle when it's a little bit bigger, maybe next year, so that I will have a crown of the tree. And I could wire this downward a little bit. Yes, I could wire this downward a little bit. Needle plucking. Just going to pluck the needles that are too dense, and it's old and dense and yellow. I can pluck those. I'm not going to. So we just have to be aware that after we pluck the needles, there is no more green on that section of the branch, so we cannot decandle back to the place where we completely remove all the needles. But if we keep some needles in a area, we can always cut it back to that portion of the tree. The function would be similar to where you decandle. As long as you have green on that area, you can cut back to. So I've removed the old and yellow needles on this section. That means I cannot cut back to there and expect new bud to come out. But on the other hand, I have more light get into that area so that it may benefit the tree on actually budding back without cutting. So there are trade-offs I need to think about. I need to remove some of the old needles to allow more light and airflow into the tree structure. But I also need to think about whether I want to cut back to that area. If I want to cut back to an area and hope that it's still back bud, after I cut back, I will need to leave some needles. But if I have decided I'm not going to cut back to that area, I can pluck the needles there. So the thing about conifer pruning, that's different from deciduous tree pruning, is if you want the branch to bud back, when you prune, you need to prune to a place where there is some green, and if there is no green left in an area, you cannot expect it to bud. That branch will completely die off after you prune. That's what should be expected. Okay, these are also already, these are also beneath the air layer, so I can needle plug it. Pine tree is just, it's going to take a lot of time to take care of pine tree, because you need to do this. Decandling is actually not that time consuming. It's the needle plugging that's probably even more time consuming. Just going to find these old needles everywhere and need to plug it. This will allow a lot of light to get into the area, and hopefully it's going to help the tree to bud back. Also, because I pluck off so much energy that's in the leaf, the hope is it's going to generate smaller needles next time. I'm not only plucking the needles, I'm also pruning it short, because I know that this year the tree really has some strength in it. I believe the tree will bud back well. You can see all these fertilizer bags that's on the tree. I have fertilized it very, very heavily this year. These are fine. I'm going to leave. I'm pretty sure this fall I can remove this air layering. I'm seeing some of the root on the lower part of the bag. I just need to remember to keep watering and all. I think the air layer will be successful. I know that the pine tree are more difficult to air layer. It normally takes longer than a deciduous tree, but it can be air layer with patience. It's not going to take as fast. For a deciduous tree, normally, if you do it in the right time, right after the leaves harden off, you do an air layering, and normally in the end of the year it's going to take, but pine tree will take longer, will generally take longer. But I think the tree is doing well, the air layering is doing well. I start to see some root when I open it. I just need more root. I cannot just separate it right now because the strength of a pine tree is in its root system. It's not like juniper, whose strength is in its leaf, so it doesn't need to have that much root to survive. The pine tree, the strength is in the root system, so it has a good amount of root for it to go independent without the supply from the old root system. Going to shorten the needles. I'm not sure if I do need this here because it's too close to the this little branch is a little bit too close to the main trunk. I doubt that I need it here because it's ultimately, if it grows big, it's going to block the movement of the trunk. So I don't need this tiny one. I don't need it. I can remove it here, open it up a little bit. The ones near the back, they would be fine. Okay, this one I don't. There is one in the back where you have three branches come out of one place. Let's see if we can see it. may not be here. Here, okay. There are three branches come out in one place. I'm just going to remove one. We want bifurcation in bonsai. We don't want trifurcation, or it may ultimately generate a reverse taper where you have a bigger a swell at a location which we don't want. This branch, I'm going to leave it to grow a little bit. Next year I can decandle it. So that's fine. And this one is the final, maybe future apex of the tree, so I'm going to leave it to gain some strength. That's also fine. One more thing I want to do is I want to wire this branch down a little bit. Just want to find a wire. Ooh. May be able to do it. Just don't want to leave it to the future. Just want to wire it down a little bit. I'm going to anchor it on this stump I cut off. Nice anchor. It's just these needles are also making it difficult to wire, but because I'm just planning to wire this one branch, I don't need to plug all the needles. Just need to get my fingers into the space between all the needles and get the wire into the space. Okay, this branch is wired. I think it's wired tight nicely. I think I can decandle these lower candles, not very useful ones. Just gradually lowering the branch. After I lower it, I see that this branch is actually quite long. So even decandle may not be the right thing for this branch. The right thing may in fact be cut it back, but I will wait until it the branch strengthened a little bit. The right thing may indeed be to cut it back. But I think currently lowering this branch is the right thing currently. And then I will wait for the branch to set and then decide on next step after this. So let's see, let's take a look. Now this branch is lowered and I will wait for it to set. So after it sets, I may just cut it back to this strong bud and then develop it from there, because currently this branch, if it goes as a semi-cascade as it is right now, the branch it's too long, a little bit too long. But I have a lot of these tiny buds that I can cut back to, so no problem. I don't think there will be any problem to it. And pines set very quickly. I think next spring, or even maybe later this year I will be able to remove the wires, especially now the pine is growing very fast. Okay, there's one slight wiring, haven't done much others, and I will water the air layering today. I've checked and it's slightly dry. I don't want it to completely dry out. And there are some very nice good root inside, so I'm pretty happy with the progress of both the tree and the air layering. I think removing the air layering may be a very exciting video for many people, given how much passion people show on the air layering of pine, which is actually routinely done by many people in warmer climate when they have. So earlier, I think last month, we have a 40 degrees Celsius day, which is probably 100 some degree Fahrenheit, and Seattle has never seen that, so a lot of people freaked out, but pine tree actually like that weather. So if we were in a place where there are multiple 40 degrees Celsius day, the pine tree may develop root much faster. Okay, so this is the tree right now. I have simply decandled it and slightly thinned the tree. I haven't plucked too much of the old needles off, and we have some spiders here, which is protecting the tree from insect problem, so that's great. I hope I haven't disturbed the spiders too much, and I think that's the work I'm going to do for this year. Maybe late this fall or early next spring, I'm going to remove the air layer, but I'm not going to remove it right now. So that's it for this Japanese black pine I have. I'm not touching anything above the air layering, because all those needles, candles, they are going to generate energy for the tree to regrow its root. And the air layering is doing very well. It's having some roots in the back now. I have made a small sneak peek by myself, but I'm sure I saw some roots, so that's good news. Okay, I think that's it for this tree for now, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.